Have you ever thought about why some people seem to find peace and freedom as they age, while others feel stuck in their relationships? The reality is, as you get older, having a partner might not always be the gift we think it is. For many, it can become a subtle yet persistent drain on energy, slowly eroding your freedom, narrowing your choices, and making your later years feel more stressful than they need to be. If you've ever felt that maintaining a relationship at this stage takes more than it gives, you're definitely not alone. In today's video, we'll be exploring 5 important reasons why having a partner in later life might actually complicate things rather than simplify them. But here's the kicker. Acknowledging these reasons doesn't mean you should give up on companionship completely. It's about gaining the wisdom to recognize the bigger picture and making choices that genuinely benefit your well-being. Stick around till the end. What we discuss might just shift how you view relationships in your golden years. Reason number 1, the emotional weight of never-ending compromise. As you age, your patience for unnecessary stress starts to dwindle, yet relationships often come with an unspoken expectation of constant compromise. When you're younger, it may feel natural to shift your habits, priorities, and even dreams to keep things smooth. But as the years pass, you start to realize that the compromises are rarely worth the peace you lose. The little things, like what to eat, where to go, how to spend your day, can turn into a never-ending debate, draining your energy and leaving you emotionally spent. Take Robert, for instance, a 74-year-old man who spent decades adjusting to his wife's needs, only to realize his own desires have been on the back burner. Now, in his later years, he simply wants quiet mornings, but his wife insists on blasting the TV as soon as she wakes up. Small issues like this pile up, turning what was once a loving partnership into an exhausting series of compromises. The truth is, by a certain point, you should no longer feel obligated to sacrifice your own happiness to meet someone else's needs. Many people find themselves caught in emotional cycles, always reassuring, apologizing, adjusting. Yet in old age, these burdens can feel particularly heavy. Instead of feeling free to enjoy your days, you may find yourself stuck, constantly making sure your partner is happy, even at your own expense. Here's the hard truth. If a relationship starts draining your emotional energy in later life, it's no longer a relationship that serves you. At this stage, your peace of mind should be the priority, but far too many stay in relationships out of routine rather than real joy, unaware of how much lighter life could feel if they simply allowed themselves to let go of the constant strain of compromise. Number 2, the loss of true independence. One of the greatest gifts of aging is the newfound freedom to live life on your own terms. After decades of responsibilities, raising kids, building careers, managing relationships, you've earned the right to do whatever makes you happy. But in a relationship, your decisions are often still influenced by someone else's needs, habits, and expectations. You might think you're enjoying your golden years together, but the truth is, you could be giving up the one thing that truly makes this stage of life meaningful: complete independence. Take Frank, for example. At 78, he had spent his whole life as a devoted husband. When his wife passed, he realized something startling. He had never made a single decision purely for himself. Everything in his life, from where they lived to what they ate, was shaped by compromise. But once he was on his own, he experienced a level of freedom he hadn't known was possible. Waking up with no one else's schedule to follow, no obligations, and no need to explain his choices. It was a freedom he had unknowingly craved for years. Many older couples face this challenge, even in happy relationships. You're still expected to check in, coordinate schedules, and adjust your plans for the sake of someone else. It's not about not loving your partner. It's about realizing how much of your independence fades in a shared life. You may find it harder to travel spontaneously, take up new hobbies, or change your routine without factoring in your partner's preferences. And let's not forget about the mental independence that erodes over time in a long-term relationship. Your thoughts and opinions become influenced by years of compromise and discussion. When you're alone, you're suddenly able to reconnect with your true self, making decisions based solely on what brings you joy, not what keeps the relationship balanced. Independence isn't just about being alone. It's about having the freedom to live without restrictions, to embrace your desires without hesitation. The longer you're in a relationship, the more you adapt. But in later years, the most precious gift you can give yourself is the ability to live life entirely on your own terms. If this resonates with you, leave a number 2 comment below to let me know you're here. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss another video. Your support helps us keep creating valuable content for you. Number 3. The emotional exhaustion from constant compromise. Early in relationships, they seem to offer comfort, support, and joy, but as you age, you might start to realize that they also demand something you no longer have the energy for: endless compromise. It's a gradual drain, something that only becomes clear when you experience the alternative: peaceful solitude where every decision is yours alone. Take Robert, a 74-year-old man who spent decades married. He loved his wife dearly, but often found himself making small sacrifices, watching movies he didn't like, eating at restaurants that didn't appeal to him, or adjusting his routine to fit hers. Individually, these sacrifices weren't a big deal, but over time, they added up. After his wife passed, he thought he'd feel lonely, but instead, he was met with a profound sense of relief. He could finally do what he wanted, when he wanted, without considering how it impacted anyone else. It wasn't that he didn't love his wife. It was simply that he had never realized how tiring it was to always compromise. When you're younger, compromise is part of growth. It teaches patience, understanding, and teamwork. But in old age, it becomes a burden. At a time when you should be resting, reflecting, and enjoying your freedom, a relationship still demands constant adjustment. You might not even realize how much you've given up until you step away from that dynamic. Even the simplest things, like decorating the house or making medical decisions, can become emotionally draining when constantly shared with a partner. For many, this ongoing negotiation eventually wears them down, making them more exhausted than they should be in their later years. The reality is, as you age, the peace that comes from making decisions without resistance becomes one of life's greatest luxuries. You no longer have to justify your choices or suppress small annoyances, and that mental clarity, the freedom to simply be yourself, can be one of the most refreshing experiences in life. Number 4. The burden of caretaking. That no one talks about as we age. Many of us envision the golden years as a time for companionship, love, and support. However, one aspect often overlooked is the emotional and physical toll that caring for a partner with declining health can take. For those in long-term relationships, one partner often assumes the role of caretaker when the other falls ill. This shift in responsibility can start small, helping with medications, attending doctor appointments, or offering emotional support. But as time goes on, the strain intensifies. James, a 77-year-old man, spent over 50 years with his wife before she became ill. He loved her deeply and stepped into the caregiving role without hesitation. What began as manageable care soon took a toll on his health. James found himself sacrificing his own well-being, losing sleep, and becoming overwhelmed by stress. What started as an act of love turned into a relentless obligation. Studies confirm that elderly caregivers often face higher rates of depression and physical illness due to the intense responsibility. The sad reality is that by the time the caregiver loses their partner, they may be left in worse health than if they had remained independent. For seniors who choose to live alone, they avoid this burden altogether, maintaining the freedom to prioritize their own health and happiness. While caring for a loved one is noble, it can also be exhausting. In your later years, the decision to prioritize your well-being may be the healthiest choice of all. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell so you won't miss any valuable videos. Your support helps us create more content to inform and inspire you. Number 5. The financial and emotional strain of late-life partnerships. Many people assume that entering a relationship later in life will bring comfort and security. However, the reality can often be quite different. In old age, shared financial responsibilities, medical expenses, and even disagreements over money can add significant stress. Robert, at 80 years old, had been living a peaceful, independent life after his wife's passing. He enjoyed the freedom of spending his savings on activities he loved. However, when he entered a relationship in his mid-70s, things changed. His new partner had financial struggles, and Robert found himself covering more than he anticipated. Living expenses, medical bills, and even helping his partner's children became a drain on his finances. What was initially companionship quickly became a financial burden. This scenario is not uncommon. Seniors entering relationships later in life may find that their financial security is tied to another person's circumstances. While some couples navigate this well, others experience deep financial stress, leading to arguments and resentment. Many seniors stay in relationships out of financial obligation, fearing they won't be able to live independently. The emotional toll of such relationships can be just as draining. On the other hand, seniors who remain single often report feeling more in control of their financial futures. They can make financial decisions based on their own priorities, without the strain of worrying about someone else's financial situation. Independence in old age can offer the freedom to make choices that are right for you, without the added stress of financial strain. If you're finding this helpful, comment number 5 below. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell to stay updated on more insightful content. Final thoughts: embracing freedom in later years. As you move through life, the choices you make in your later years become even more significant. While many people believe that having a partner is essential, the truth is that for some, it can bring more stress than joy. The later stages of life should be about freedom: freedom to make your own decisions, live without unnecessary burdens, and prioritize your own health and happiness. The idea that companionship is the key to happiness isn't always true, especially if that companionship brings obligations, conflicts, or restricts your independence. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. Are your relationships truly enhancing your happiness, or are they a result of habit, fear, or obligation? Every person's journey is different, but one thing remains clear: your later years should be a time of peace, not unnecessary hardship. Whether you choose to be with someone or remain independent, make sure it's because it genuinely improves your life. Aging is not about adhering to societal expectations. It's about making decisions that serve you. And sometimes, the smartest decision is to let go of what no longer benefits you. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and share one thing you've learned from this video and how it can impact your life. Your feedback motivates and inspires us to keep creating valuable content. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others. Your support allows us to continue producing content that informs and uplifts. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.